Hi guys, it's Hannah and today we are doing my December wrap up. So today I have a lot of books to get through. There is like genuinely, there are 16 books that we need to get through, but let's go over my stats for the month first. So I read actually 8 novels this month, 7 graphic novels, 1 novella, and 2 poetry books. So my total at the beginning was actually a lie because I have some that I don't actually have physically here with me, but I wanted to film this on the first because I was really trying to reach 50 books read this year. Some of my videos are going to be coming out late because I really wanted to like wait until the whole reading year was done. So everyone was already doing their favorites and their least favorites, but I read 2 books yesterday that were going to go on my favorites list and the other one's going on my worst books of the year list. So those will be coming out soon, so look forward to those. But in this video, we're going to be talking about my December wrap up. So all of the books that I read in December. There's a lot going on. I did some reading vlogs this month, which you can go watch on my YouTube channel. There's a Christmas reading vlog where I show you 2 whole books that I read and also the novella that I read. And I have a Percy Jackson reread vlog coming out very soon. So look forward to those. And let's get on into this video. So the first book that I read this month is The Sun and Her Flowers. This is by Rupi Kaur. I love her poetry. I always have loved her poetry. I read this because I got it for my friend for Christmas and I decided to like write little annotations and stuff. So I read it for the very first time while also like annotating it and giving it to her so she could see like all my thoughts and things, because we've done that back and forth a few times, so I thought it would be really fun as like a little Christmas gift. So that's why I read this month. I really enjoyed it. I think I read another poetry book later on this month that I enjoyed more. It's all about feminism and loving yourself and love and healing and all of the good things. So I really enjoyed this. There were some really hard-hitting poems in there that I really enjoyed. So I gave The Sun and Her Flowers 4 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it and I really want to pick up more poetry books, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know. I always love Rupi Kaur's writing. I have quite a few of her poetry books, but I definitely want more, and they're just always so good. So 4 out of 5 stars for that one. It started the month off pretty good. Next up, I read Fracturing Fate by Sasha Alsberg. I keep wanting to say like Fracturing Freight or just like, it's a tongue twister of a title, let me say. This book is the second book in her duology. She is also a booktuber if you didn't know, or she was like an OG booktuber back in the day. She doesn't make videos anymore, unfortunately, but she was like my all-time favorite booktuber, so I wanted to pick up her books. I read the first one literally a year ago to the day that I started this one, which was crazy. I will say I think I should have done like a reread because this is like heavily based in Celtic lore and things that I am not very familiar with. So this was very mythology heavy, this specific book, because the 2 main characters were apart for quite a lot of it. So you really got to grow with each separate one. And I will say, I think I liked this one better than the first one. It still took me a while to get through, despite every time me sitting down and reading it, it went by really quickly. Like, it's a really easy read. I would kind of classify this as if you're getting into the fantasy genre and you're like a little bit younger, then this would probably be for you if you want to try that out. Just because it's really easy to read and I feel like it really introduces you. I think it's good for young readers. I talked a little bit more about this in my December TBR video. The amount of hate that she got was not necessary at all. Like, genuinely not at all. Like, is this the best book I ever read? No. I think I gave it like 3 stars. I liked it better than her last one, but I don't think it deserved the amount of hate that it got. So that's my 2 cents on it. I enjoyed it. I liked that we got to see the characters grow separately. I will say some of the twists were a little like predictable. Not my favorite. Definitely could have been a little bit more developed, but I really did like learning about all of the mythology and whatnot because that was really interesting to me, and I literally know nothing about Celtic mythology. So I thought it was really cool learning all about that, and this second book is more filled of it than the first one, I will say. Then is the novella that I read this month, which is We Grant You a Merry Christmas. 5 out of 5 stars immediately. I loved this novella. If you know anything about me, I love the book Save the Date by Morgan Matson, and this book is a novella to that, but it's set during Christmas time. JJ, still one of my all-time favorite characters. Love him so much. I predicted some things that were going on, but obviously everything went awry, just like the first book. I have a review up if you want to go see it. It's very old, so I cannot tell you how cringy it probably is, considering it was probably filmed when I was like 16 and I'm 22 now, so I don't really want to go back and look at it. So you can do that for me. I loved it. It was super fun. I love these characters so much. I want more books with them, especially because it sets up for the next chapter of their lives that I am so interested in seeing. So hopefully Morgan Matson, you will write another one. Please. Save the Date's one of my all-time favorite romances. It's a YA romance. Beautiful. It takes place during a wedding. It's basically just a whole bunch of family dynamics. There's a little bit of love thrown in. Everything goes wrong, so it's pure chaos basically the entire novel, but it's just so entertaining and good and such a fun, fluffy read. So if you haven't read the first book, go read that, and then during Christmas time you can read this one because it just gave me all of the good feels that I just loved. It was so good. I also read this in my Christmas reading vlog, same with the next two books that I'll be talking about, so if you want more of my thoughts, you can go watch that video. I'll link it down below if you want to go watch it, even though it's not Christmas anymore. You can still watch it if you want to. So moving on to the two books that I read in my Christmas reading vlog. The first one that I read was The Christmas Fix. This is by Lucy Score. This is all about our main character, Kat, and she is basically a reality TV show star, except she renovates homes for a living, which is so cool, and you never really see that kind of reality TV portrayed in books, which was so fun. And there's this town called Mary, Connecticut. There's a hurricane going through, so it's basically flooded the entire town. She goes there, helps some people, and is like, I want to help you guys and renovate. And obviously this is gonna be a TV show thing, but I really want to help you guys. Obviously, the town manager, Noah, is known as Mr. No. He's not really up for this. He does not understand Kat's intentions and does not want to, frankly. I did really enjoy this. I think that the ending was honestly kind of thrown out the window, which really bugged me and kind of didn't really make me rate it as high as I probably would have. I talked about it more in my reading vlog, so you can go see it there. We had such a good thing going, and then the very last 50 pages maybe, it just felt like it was getting thrown out the window, and it made no sense to me, some of the character choices, because from literally the beginning of the entire novel, the characters would not have done that really. The end just wasn't it for me. Moving on to another reality TV show read. I don't know how I did that. I picked these up randomly because I recognize the authors' names and I've never read anything else by these authors. And that is Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. I really enjoyed this, despite it being very cringy at times. I kind of just looked past it because I was like, no, it's fun, you know? I talk a lot about it more. I'm really conflicted on this book, even still to this day. When I finished it towards the beginning of the month, I still have absolutely no idea what I would rate this. I enjoyed it, but then the end really rubbed me the wrong way, and I didn't really like the ending that much, and it also felt like it was just thrown out the window. I don't know what it is about some adult romance authors. I feel like they like lead up like such good stories, and then a lot of the time their endings are just absolute crap. I don't know what it is, but I feel like this happens a lot in the adult romance genre, and I don't know if it's just me noticing that and I'm just picking up these books, but I enjoyed the rest of it. I flew through this book. I still am not over his name. His name is Beat. Yeah, I know. So we follow Beat and Melody, and their mothers were part of this band that broke up in like the 80s, 90s. They were really famous, like rock band, I think. This producer comes up to them and is like, I will offer you like 7 figures if you can reunite your mothers for this whole thing on Christmas Eve. They try to do it for their own intentions. They both have their own intentions. It's obviously a love story, very quick love. It's a little cringy at times, but you know what? I still enjoyed my time with it, so that's all I can really ask for, especially for a Christmas romance read. You can go look more at my thoughts on here. Just know that I'm still fairly conflicted about this book. I don't know what I feel about it, and I don't know if I ever will, to be honest with you. Moving on to my next read of the month is one that I unboxed in that video too, and that is Talk to Strangers. This is by Matt Dahlia. This is the Yes Theory story. If you don't know what Yes Theory is, it's basically this YouTube group that their whole thing is seeking discomfort and saying yes to things, getting out of your comfort zone. They have a whole YouTube channel you can go watch. I've been watching them since like middle school, and Matt is one of the OG founders of Yes Theory, and he is finally leaving. This was his like last goodbye to all of the subscribers and whatnot, and his last project with Yes Theory, which is so sad because Matt was one of my favorites. It was so inspiring, and I adored it. If you have not watched their videos, they're insane. I aspire to be like them. I don't think I could ever do anything like that, and because of them I have really pushed myself to go, out of my comfort zone. So I highly recommend this book, especially because you can kind of follow along with a lot of the stuff that they're talking about because they have it all documented. All of these videos that they talk about are documented on their YouTube, which is really cool because there were a lot of references that I was like, oh my god, I remember that. I remember that happening and I just completely forgot. So this was just like really heartwarming and like honestly really bittersweet because this is like a new era of them and I've just been following along since like the OG group and it breaks my heart but also warms my heart because they're starting something new and it's gonna be exciting. But I also got it signed and he signed it with a little heart, which is so freaking cute. I'm pretty sure he signed every single one with a heart. Next up, you're gonna see in a reading vlog because I reread The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. The first book in the Percy Jackson series, the series that started everything for me. I have always loved reading growing up. Like I genuinely would just read all of the time, but this was the series that really got me into reading even more than I already was and really got me addicted to this and got me into fan accounts. If you didn't know, I had a fan account for Percy Jackson. Middle school, literally like 6th grade me had a fan account and a little bit into high school, but I kind of stopped there because I transitioned to Bookstagram. I love this series with my whole heart. Percy Jackson is my Harry Potter. Rereading this was just so fun. I did a whole reading vlog on it because the new TV show just came out. I need to catch up because I want to do like maybe like every 2 episodes like put a video out of like my review of them. So I feel like that'd be very interesting. I review the first 2 episodes in that reading vlog, so look out for that coming soon. There's quite a lot of other videos that need to come out that are kind of on a time crunch, so hopefully it'll be coming out soon, but I loved being with these characters again and I'm gonna be rereading the rest of the series this coming year, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna do a reading vlog probably on each book. Look forward to that. I adored it. I loved it. Next up are some graphic novels that I started. I'm probably gonna do a huge book haul and explain this later, but my Barnes & Noble was doing basically a 50% off everything because they needed to clear out their stock because my Barnes & Noble's moving. I finally picked up these graphic novels that I've been seeing around since the first one came out and it got turned into a TV show and everything, and one of my roommates is like obsessed with the TV show. One of my friends is obsessed with the graphic novels and the TV show. It was about time for me to pick them up. I'm just like, it's always so hard for me to justify buying graphic novels that aren't discounted because I read through them within like 30 minutes because they just like go so fast for me and I'm already a quick reader. And realistically, for me at least, except for the last like 2 books of the series, I didn't buy discounted just because I wanted to finish the series, so. I started Heartstopper. So I read volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and then I read some books in between volume 4 and 5 because I had to order those off of Amazon. But I did also read those this month. I read all of them this month, which was so fun. Also, these spines are absolutely gorgeous. Like, genuinely stunning. I love the colors so much. I think there needs to be like a purple one next or something. I really enjoyed these. I will say the 4th one is my absolute favorite. I mean, it was a little cringy at times, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's really sweet, their love story, and just all the things that they go through. I think the 4th one is honestly one of the most important books. Almost everyone should be reading this one. It talks a lot about mental health and OCD and anorexia, and as someone who had OCD, talks about it really well and how it can really lead to other things. This just does it so well because it also it shows the person going through it, but it also shows someone on the outside who's just trying their best to help, like how to go about that. So it really shows 2 differing perspectives, which is just so beautiful, and I just really loved it. Healing's a journey, and this book really shows that, and I loved this volume so much. I think I rated this one like 5 stars. The rest of them I ranged between 3 and 4 stars. So in between the graphic novels of Heartstopper, I read Check and Mate. This is by Ali Hazelwood. This is her first ever young adult book. However, I think it reads more like a new adult book. I have some like mixed opinions about this. I flew through this book. I really enjoyed it. I really love the premise. It's basically about this girl who gets back into chess because she needs to make money for her family because her dad passed away and her mom has an illness that she can't really work or do anything, and they don't have the money for better medication for her to get better. Everything kind of falls on our main character, Mallory. She basically gets back into chess, which she never really wanted to do because it reminds her a lot of her dad. So she gets back into it solely for the money, but also because she loves it. Like, she'll deny it, but she loves it. Through that, she meets the reigning test champ of the world, Nolan, and I love Nolan. However, I wish that we saw more of Nolan because this is marketed as a romance. However, I don't really think it's fully a romance novel. Like, there's a little bit of romance in there thrown in, obviously, because it's Allie Hazelwood, but I think that there could have been more, and I wish that there was more. It's like rivals to lovers, it's not enemies to lovers at all. If you're going into this thinking it's a romance, they didn't get together till like 80% of the way through the book. I literally kept track on my Goodreads. It was like 80% of the way through the book. Something happens, they're not together for the rest until like the very end. So, spoilers right there. It's more so a coming of age story about Mallory and turning into the person that she wants to be, and also focusing on herself and learning more about herself and trying to take care of herself and not just others all the time, because in order to take care of others, you also need to take care of yourself. I honestly wish that there was more romance. I think it could have been longer and could have had more romance. I loved the concept. I genuinely wish there was more romance in it. It was really disappointing because I loved Nolan and I loved where this was going, and I wish we just got to see more of them because we barely got to see anything from them. So I still recommend you to pick this book up because it is really entertaining. I just don't go into it thinking that it's a full romance book. It's good. I just wish there was more romance. So sue me. Next up, also in between Heartstopper, I read the Lore of Olympus books because each one of these was 50% off. I literally was so happy. My sister showed them to me. She was like, you still need these 2 volumes, right? Because these are volumes 4 and 5, so I have 1 through 3 up there that I also got discounted, which is amazing, years ago. Back when Barnes & Noble would do 50% off hardcovers, but apparently now they don't do that anymore. If you have not read Lore Olympus, go read Lore Olympus. It's basically a take on Greek mythology and all of the gods in this world, and it follows Hades and Persephone and their love story. This last book, freaking volume 5, left off on a huge cliffhanger that I am so mad about. This started out as a webtoon comic and it got published. It's really good. Like, there's so much happening, and it's literally like I'm watching a reality TV show, but with all of the Greek gods and goddesses. It's amazing. I'm obsessed with it. They're all so funny, so sarcastic. It's just so entertaining. So if you haven't picked these up, go do it. Plus, the art style, genuinely gorgeous. This specific page, I love it. Like, they're all so pretty. There's 5 volumes out right now, and I think we have to wait like another year for volume 6, which volume 5 left off on such a big cliffhanger that I am still in shock. After that, my sister picked me up for Christmas Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I didn't like this book. It follows Charlie's sister Tori, and based on her little cameos in Heartstopper, I honestly thought I would love Tori. She just got on my nerves so much in this book. I was bored most of the time. The way she was written, it really felt like she was bored too, which I get what the author was trying to do, but it just made me as a reader bored and not wanting to read it at all. But I did because it's so short and it was Alice Oseman, so I was like, okay, maybe it'll get better. I didn't enjoy it, which was so sad. Based on like the little interactions from Heartstopper, I guess I just like formed this like different narrative of who Tori is in my head than compared to how she is in this book. It's just like, but I loved her other books. Radio Silence, I gave that 5 stars when I read it like years ago. It was really good. This one just didn't do it for me. And we're down to the last 2 books that I read yesterday. So the very last day of 2023. First off, In 5 Years. 2 stars. I thought it was gonna be a romance. It's not. It's basically a story about friendship, and I really loved that aspect of it. However, the author just went about it not a good way. I think she had an idea for it. It could have been better developed, and also it made me feel gross. Yeah, they had sex because it's just like grief. Like they were just sharing their grief. I'm like, no, thank you. That made me feel really gross. I did not like that. And it basically threw out the main character's friendship right out the window, basically after this entire novel talking about how much they have like loved each other, and it rubbed me the wrong way. It didn't deal with it well, and I get what the author was trying to do, but she did not do it well. I will say I do love this cover. This cover is really gorgeous, but I was enjoying it. It was reading really fast, which was nice. I get what she was trying to do with like the transporting in 5 years, like the little like premonition or whatever, but I don't think it needed to be that, because you go through the story then of 5 years of friendship and heartbreak and pain and love, and then you get to that and it kind of just feels like everything was thrown out the window. I'm trying not to spoil it, so if this makes no sense to you, I am so sorry. There's that. But we left the year on a good note in the sense that I read Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace. I loved this poetry book. 5 stars, going on my favorites books list. I loved it so much. I'm gonna read the trigger warnings though, because it does talk about some really hard topics, but I related to so many of them in here. The whole Cinderella aspect and the take on Cinderella. Cinderella is such like an important story to me, resonates with me. Like I have a lot of connections to Cinderella just like throughout my life and whatnot. This book contains sensitive material relating to child abuse, toxic friendships, toxic romantic relationships, sexual harassment, eating disorders, fat phobia, suicide, trauma, and possibly more. Remember to practice self-care before, during, and after reading, which is so important for every single book that you read. It's also just beautiful. The moon, I literally have a moon tattoo, you guys, like right here. When I flipped and I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, this book's for me. And there's also some other little random images throughout. This page is so pretty. I really loved it. Go pick it up if you haven't. We have finally reached the end of this video and all of the books that I read. Let's see. I don't even know if I could pick these up, you guys. I don't know if I can do this. This is so heavy, I'm shaking. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. I will come out with my best books and my worst books of 2023 very soon. I hope you enjoyed this very long December TBR because I read a lot this month. Despite a lot of them being graphic novels, I read a lot of like normal novels and poetry books and novellas, so pretty diverse reading month when it comes to consuming different like forms of literature. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your reading goal is for 2024 and what books you plan on reading and what books you read in December and ended the year off. So hopefully it was a good year. Hopefully this year is even better, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.